The chairman of London's King Edward VII Hospital has written to the company behind the Australian radio hoax call, protesting at the truly appalling stunt. Lord Glenarthur said the apparent suicide of the nurse who receives the call, Jacinta Saldanha, was tragic beyond words. The letter was just part of a cascade of criticism heaped on Sydney's 2-day FM radio for breaching Duchess of Cambridge's privacy while she was being treated for acute morning sickness. Jane Death reports.
Jacinta Saldanha's husband and 2 children have called her our beloved Jacinta. The police say they're treating her death as unexplained. But as people left flowers at the family home in Bristol, some feel her apparent suicide can be, at least partly, explained by the prank call she took from 2 Australian radio presenters, pretending to be the Queen and Prince Charles.
You know what? They were the worst accents ever.
The nurse put them through to the Duchess of Cambridge's ward, where another nurse unwittingly gave them details of Kate Middleton's condition. The day after the Duchess was discharged, Jacinta Saldanha was found dead. Her family in India is in mourning and in shock.
At 8 o'clock in the morning, my son rang up to say that she is no more. We do not know what actually happened, just that she is dead.
I will really miss her a lot. She was a good-natured sister-in-law. I cannot forget her. She was so good.
The hospital's chairman has now written a furious letter to the owners of the radio station, describing the decision by managers at Today FM to approve the broadcast of the hoax call as truly appalling. Lord Glenarthur writes,
"The immediate consequence of these premeditated and ill-considered actions was the humiliation of 2 dedicated and caring nurses who were simply doing their job, tending to their patients. The longer-term consequence has been reported around the world and is frankly tragic beyond words. I appreciate that you cannot undo the damage which has been done, but I would urge you to take steps to ensure that such an incident could never be repeated."
For now, Michael Christian and Mel Gregg are off the air. Their boss says they're completely shattered. He's offered them counselling.
These people aren't machines, they're human beings. We're all affected by this. This is a tragic event that could not have been reasonably foreseen, and we're deeply saddened by it.
Today FM says it hasn't broken any laws, but Australian broadcasting rules, similar to ours, say people shouldn't be recorded without them knowing. The radio station has already lost advertising as a result of the prank. On the internet, some are blaming the presenters for Jacinta Saldanha's death. Others feel sorry for them. The royal family had made no complaint about Jacinta Saldanha, and the hospital was supporting her. We don't know what was behind the apparently desperate decision of this quiet and diligent nurse. We do know she was the victim of a very thoughtless joke.
Well, earlier I spoke to Michael Idato. He's a journalist with the Sydney Morning Herald. And I started by asking him what was next for the 2 radio DJs.
These guys are not very well known. They're not high-profile radio personalities. They are in effect, summer radio kind of fill-in hosts. So it's possible that, that the worst that will happen to them is that, they will kind of fade into kind of inglorious invisibility, in a sense. There's a lot of anger kind of being directed at them, but I don't know that there's any tangible punishment.
We know the presenters have been suspended and that the radio station have suspended break-taking advertising for the next few days, but they're also saying that they haven't broken the law. In effect, they haven't done anything wrong. Does anybody agree with them on that? The
prevailing feeling here is that, the station needs to take responsibility for the fact that this prank has had a very tragic outcome. The intended target, which is the Duchess of Cambridge, is a pregnant woman and having a difficult pregnancy and someone who is hospitalised. And I think that, when we talk about kind of trying not to aim these pranks at vulnerable people in society, I don't think there's anyone more vulnerable than a mother to be.
That was Michael Idato talking to me from Sydney earlier.